City homes, homes around the world. What is a city home? A city is a place where thousands, sometimes millions, of people live and work. There are many buildings in a city, such as offices, stores, factories, and homes. About 6 million people live in the city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in South America. Cities can be very crowded places. Some people live in large houses. Many people live in tall buildings that contain a lot of homes. These are called apartment buildings. These houses are in San Francisco, California. There are office buildings in the distance. Townhouses and suburbs. In some cities, the streets are lined with houses that are all joined together in a long line. They are called townhouses or terraced houses. Rows of townhouses line the edge of the River Seine in Paris, France. Many people have their homes outside of the city center in areas called suburbs. The suburbs are often located many miles from the city center. Despite their distance, they are still part of the city. These houses are in the suburbs of Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden. Shanty towns. Across the world, people are moving from their homes in villages or the country to live in big cities. It is often easier to find work in a city than it is in the country. People may not have enough money for a home in the city, so they build shelters in shanty towns. People in this shanty town have built their homes from wood and corrugated iron in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Some city people do not have homes. They live on city streets. They make shelters from bits of cardboard and plastic. There are homeless people in big cities all around the world. This woman lives in a shelter on the streets of London, England. Building a city home. Many city people live in apartment buildings. These tall towers are made from steel, concrete, and glass. Builders use the steel to make a strong frame for the building. They use the concrete and glass to make the walls and windows. People have no gardens in these apartments in Wuhan, China. Their balconies are the only outside spaces. In other places, city homes are built using materials found nearby, such as mud or stone. People mix the mud with straw to make the building stronger. Many of the mud houses in Nigeria have decorations on the roofs. Inside a city home. Many cities are expensive and crowded places to live, and a lot of people cannot afford larger homes. Families often live in small apartments. People may live, eat, and sleep in just 1 or 2 rooms. To find more space to live in, people have converted old buildings into homes. Many of these buildings were once warehouses or offices. Now they are full of apartments. This woman lives in Glasgow, Scotland, and converted apartments often have lots of space. The weather. In very hot places, people try to keep their city homes cool. In some cities, buildings have wind catchers on top. These wind catchers are like wind chimneys facing toward the wind. They trap the wind and the air goes into the rooms below. It can get cold during the winter in some cities. The city of Moscow, Russia, has snow in its streets in winter. Hot water is pumped through pipes to keep homes warm. People turn on electric radiators when the temperature drops very low. Winter in Moscow is so cold that canals and rivers freeze over. The environment. A storm or earthquake can cause a lot of damage in cities because there are many buildings. In 2005, a hurricane hit near the city of New Orleans, Louisiana. It caused massive damage and flooding. A hurricane is a big storm with rain and strong winds. After a hurricane in New Orleans, floodwater from the Gulf of Mexico filled streets and homes with water. Often the air in cities is not very clean. Smoke from factories and exhaust fumes from vehicles make the air dirty. Sometimes a city is covered with a cloud of air pollution called smog. In this picture, you see smog lying over the skyscrapers of Hong Kong, China. School and play. City schools can be very big with hundreds of students. Some children may have come from the city and some from other countries. Students at a school may know many languages. These girls are using computers at a school in New York City. There are many different things to do in a city. Children visit parks and city zoos. There are theaters and cinemas for going to see plays and films. There are libraries for reading books. There are swimming pools and places for playing sports. Actors perform a play outdoors in a park in Melbourne, Australia. Going to work. City centers have tall buildings called skyscrapers, which are full of offices where people work. Other people work in factories to make things or on city buses and trains. Thousands of people work in these skyscrapers in Singapore. In city centers, people work in big department stores as well as small stores. People often come to the city to go shopping. When they are not at work, many people go to the theaters and restaurants in the city. Galeries Lafayette is a department store in the center of Paris, France. Macy's in New York City is the largest department store in the world. Getting around. There are many different ways to travel around a city. Some cities have trains called subways that go through tunnels underground. Other cities have streetcars that run on rails in the streets. People are getting on and off of a subway train in Hamburg, Germany. Many people drive cars in cities. City streets are often full of cars. Sometimes cars get stuck in traffic, move so slowly that it takes a long time to go even a short distance. Cars and other vehicles are stuck in a long traffic jam in this street in India. Where in the world? Look at these two pictures carefully. How are the homes different from each other? What is each house made of? Look at their walls, roofs, windows, and doors. How are these homes different from where you live? How are they the same? This one is in Nigeria, and this one is in Vietnam. Here's some ideas. Create your own cityscape mobile. On a sheet of paper, draw a picture of each type of building that you want to include in your cityscape. Color the pictures with pencil, crayons, or markers.